The Burnout franchise has been responsible for some of the most innovative and fun gameplay in the history of the racing genre, pioneering crash physics, changing how high-speed driving is perceived in games, and finally allowing players to answer the age-old question, what happens if I drive this supercar directly into this wall as fast as possible? But Burnout was less a foregone conclusion waiting to be created, and more of a natural result of pushing a game engine to its limits, sometimes in ways it was never designed for. This is the story of Burnout. In 1999, Criterion Software had a problem. Though their RenderWare game engine had been widely successful, it had existed in some form since 1993, and Criterion felt the pressure to demonstrate that their game engine was still competitive. As a result of this pressure, Criterion Games was created as a way to showcase what RenderWare was capable of. Criterion's launch title for the new game studio was Trickstyle, a fast-paced skateboarding game published by Acclaim for the Dreamcast in 1999. However, Trickstyle saw a lukewarm launch, and as a result, Fiona Sperry was approached to head Criterion's gaming arm to provide some much-needed direction. In Sperry's own words, Criterion had 2.5 teams under the name of Criterion Studios, none of whom had yet seen any real success. There were not many design leaders, and it wasn't really clear to anyone what games we would make next. The Trickstyle team, along with the remaining members of other splintered teams, comprised a pool of incredible talent without a singular goal. The other team was a small group that had previously worked on 3D graphics demos at Intel, resulting in a handful of motorcycle-related games under the leadership of Alex Fry. With all of this talent in need of guidance, Sperry and Criterion Software boss Mike King began to search for a new creative director. As fate would have it, during the search process, King recalled Fry's success as a project leader previously at Intel. He asked Sperry, "Why don't we get somebody like Alex?" Sperry had a better idea. Just get Alex. Alex Fry joined Criterion in January 2000, with the existing teams working on a Trickstyle sequel for the yet-to-be-released PlayStation 2. The RenderWare team at Criterion had just signed a massive deal with Midway Games to use RenderWare across all of their new titles. Fry still had a knack for speed and racing games, and he began to form an arcade racer concept that could leverage RenderWare's engine. He envisioned something that could be a complete antithesis to Gran Turismo, widely considered the absolute authority in racing games of the late 90s. And as a big fan of classics like Ridge Racer and the original Need for Speed, he wanted to capture the excitement and visceral fun that comes from reckless, high-speed driving. But he also wanted to capture something no game had gotten quite right before: reckless, high-speed crashing. Fry saw this game mechanic as key to their success. In 2018, he recalled, "Nobody else was making a game that had cool crashes due to licensing restrictions. I figured if we did that and made it fast, we'd be onto something." To figure out the right formula for fun gameplay, Fry and the Criterion team turned to the most logical source of inspiration: Hollywood car crashes. And though the team pored over every car chase they could get their hands on, they gravitated towards building their game around the essence of 3 films. The first, 1998's Robert De Niro thriller Ronin, which caught Fry's eye because it showcased everyday performance cars being pushed hard on everyday roads in a believable and intense way. The second was the mountain chase scene from 1992's Basic Instinct, where Michael Douglas makes countless nail-bitingly close calls while overtaking on twisting mountain roads. And the third was an obscure French film coveted by hardcore gearheads and car enthusiasts across the world. Shot in 1976, the film simply shows 8 minutes of driving through Paris in the early hours of the morning. Lead artist Mike Williamson led the team responsible for creating the game locations, and they decided to split the locations in two, giving both city and rural environments. But Williamson had another revolutionary trick up his sleeve, proposing that the two tracks be linked together to create a point-to-point stage between them. And this point-to-point stage system wasn't just for immersion. Doing so required brand new off-disk streaming technology in the PlayStation 2 dev kit to keep proper stage data in memory at all times. By early 2001, the Criterion team had a fun, unique racing title that included all of Fry's philosophies, and it was rapidly nearing completion. But for whatever reason, when it came time to find a publishing partner, nobody wanted to take the risk. Fry and Sperry scoured the industry for a partner, and they had looked almost everywhere. Except for one place, one of Fry's former employers, Acclaim. Fry had avoided considering Acclaim because of their handling of a previous game's cancellation, but with no other apparent options, he threw a Hail Mary and called his former boss. Criterion was able to negotiate a distribution arrangement with Acclaim's European division, and by the end of September 2001, they had reached Gold Master and were ready to ship. Alex Fry's fast, loud, insane highway pileup of a game had finally come to fruition, and it would go on to popularize realistic crash physics and vehicle damage as something players actually want to enjoy as part of the core game experience. All in all, players would eventually get 3 direct sequels and 4 more related games across 10 gaming platforms.